Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Aston Villa preview. That's Alex Baggers, as you can see, giggling his head off at producer Cam, coming in our ears. As you say, how are you, brother? You okay?
I'm good, mate. Yeah. All ready for football this weekend.
Football. It returns, sort of, does it?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Will it?
Yeah.
Will it not?
Who
knows?
A bit of mystery now, isn't it? You don't know. Is it? Well, it's scheduled. We'll see. We decide when you play and all that. It is the game against Aston Villa. United go into this game in a decent bit of form, don't we? If you look there. There's we lost the Roma game, but it's a dead rubber.
It's
it
a bit
didn't
weird,
matter.
isn't it?
We still won it on aggregate.
It's weird, that loss. Is it a loss or is it?
Nah. I don't count games we lose.
Okay.
Just
let's just do that. As a rule. There you go. Easy. That's good.
Just makes life easier.
All the way. Won everything.
So you see there, like the two games against Roma, the game against Leeds as well, which is the worst game of football anyone's ever seen. The win over West Ham and
Burnley.
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 West Ham.
That's
What am I about?
Burnley.
Yeah. Hello. Is that West Ham? Burnley, and then the other Europa League win as well.
Against Granada. Yeah.
Against Granada. So
Flying.
Yeah. Going into this, we've had sails up, as you say. It is weird though, isn't it? Because of what's going on, and the fact we didn't play the Scousers. There is all this sort of, and rightly so, there's a lot of protests going on, action going on off the pitch, and we're going into this game, and it almost feels at the minute a little bit like football's almost secondary.
Completely. I think that with everything going on, with the protests, with the fact that a game got cancelled and all this, and I think as well, especially in the league, the fact that we've not really got much to play for at this moment in time. We're 3 points away from guaranteeing Champions League football for next season, which even in its own way, because of everything that's gone on, kind of takes a secondary thing. I think celebrating a top 4 finish or a top 2 finish now seems even worse, because you just kind of go, that's the whole point about this whole Super League, is that's what they were going for, and that's so celebrating that all seems a bit odd. But yeah, we're 3 points away from doing that. Ollie's mentioned in his press conference today that people are going to be upset when you rest players because of the rearranged stuff. Whether that's this weekend against Villa, I don't know. Whether he's just going to, let's just get this game out of the way, and then you've got Leicester and Liverpool in the week, where he might rotate in there and just kind of give a few different people a game.
No, I know what you mean, and it's like people were saying, weren't they, ahead of the Roma game when the teams were announced. Me and you were on the pre-match build-up, and people go, "That's too strong, that team." What's he doing? He's doing this. We've got a 4-goal cushion, and then at one point, we thought, hang on a minute, like I know he'd made some substitutes, but we could be in trouble here. So it just goes to show what
the whole point
the difficulty he's got balancing everything.
We've all been going, maybe he doesn't trust his second string. Well, he put in Brandon Williams and Tellez last night at fullback, and they looked all over the place. I know it's half time, difficult to come into a game at half time, but at the same, all over the place. And for that, like we've said, if one of those goals would have gone in to make it 3-1 last night, you'd have been panicking a bit. Obviously, we got the equaliser to make it 2-2, which kind of killed things.
There was a point with 20 minutes ago where they should have got another.
Yeah,
David De Gea made some good saves or some fantastic saves, and if one of those, like you say, it does get a little bit touchy.
But it just proves that Ollie maybe doesn't quite trust a Tellez and Williams to be on the same pitch at the same time. I think you've seen this season where he may have rested Luke Shaw now and again. Wan-Bissaka's hardly been rested, kind of thing. He's always kept one of those two in there, and you've seen how important it is with those last 20 minutes. So, in terms of rotating, what he can do in the next coming weeks, who knows? But I think he might just go strong against this Villa team.
Go big or go home, as they say. One player who has been going big lately is Edinson Cavani. Got his brace against Roma. Whatever that team that we played. He's been doing well. You can see there 7 goal contributions in his last 2 games, 4 goals and 3 assists. Fantastic numbers, and also the way he plays, and the fact that when Mason Greenwood gets himself in a bit of mither,
off as well, wasn't he?
Cavani straight in there, innit? Hey,
quality,
straight in there. And Mason Greenwood was straight off, wasn't he? I love that he ran off, left him to it. Going, Edinson, you deal with that. There was a little bit of sort of doubt, weren't there? I think about him a few months ago. He'd missed a lot of games. I think he'd missed 9 out of 10 games or something with injury. He'd had his ban obviously for what went on Instagram, and there was a sort of a little worry that it might be unravelling slightly. His dad had come out and said he's got a Boca Juniors, I think, and you're thinking, is this happening for him? Is he quite to play before he was or whatever? I mean, he's just kicked on, hasn't he? And it's just like, I mean, not kicked on, but he's just shown what he's made of, because we know he's an absolute gem from his record in the last sort of 10 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think the doubts were that he had a couple of them performances off the bench. He came away in Southampton, was fantastic. I think he's had a couple of off the bench performances, scored a couple of goals early in the season, but he couldn't get that rhythm in starting. Obviously, with Martial being injured as well, you weren't too sure whether Cavani's just going to start as our number 9. You weren't sure whether he could do that, whether he was fit enough to do that. But I think with that break he had, with the fact he's worked himself back into fitness and he's now probably fully fit, I mean, he's shown he can play. He can easily play 90 minutes. Whether he can play 90 minutes back-to-back games is yet to be seen. But he's been unbelievable. He's been so good, and also he's shown how good of a team we can be and how good a football we can be by just having a number 9 that gets on the ends of crosses, that links things up well, that does all the things you want in a number 9, and that maybe Martial doesn't quite do, and maybe there's something why Ollie's always been on the lookout for another one or someone to do that more traditional number 9 role. So he does the link-up play that Martial does, but also can get on the end of a few crosses. And his goal the other night, his first goal obviously breaking through, but his header, it's just something that Martial doesn't quite have in the locker. So he's been quality, Edinson Cavani.
It's 7 of the 8 goals that we scored against Roma
Was Cavani.
He's had a contribution towards, which is fucking ridiculous, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? He could say he's carried us through to the Europa League final, and hopefully he'll carry us all the way to lifting it. At the other end of the pitch, we expect him to come back. I know we're going to do our predicted 11s in a little while, but Dean Henderson was obviously rested, dropped, rotated, however you want to term it, for the Europa League game. He should be back in, shouldn't he?
I think so. I think that Ollie's made that decision now that Dean Henderson's going to play in the Premier League. De Gea's played well, but I don't think no one's doubting De Gea as a shot stopper. No. I don't think anyone's doubting that. I think that I mentioned it to you before the game the other night, saying that I think what Dean Henderson brings is he claims the ball. He does the things that you need in a keeper when you're going to play your defence higher up the pitch, when you're not going to concede so many chances like we have done for years, where De Gea's had to be the best shot stopper in the world just to keep us in games and stuff. You need someone that's going to command his box, deal with set pieces well, and have a bit better distribution, because I think that's where De Gea kind of sits, kind of goes behind Henderson. And those 3 things at the minute, I think probably take him above De Gea in terms of what we need, not in terms of being a better goalkeeper, because I said you can argue either way. But I think that for what we need, in terms of the chance we could get rid of De Gea this summer and there's a chance we could move him on and things like that, I think that it's the right time to do it with Dean Henderson. People are going to argue about that and say that it's disrespectful to De Gea, but look, you have to sometimes do difficult decisions at the right time in order to improve your team, and I think that this is one that Ollie will make in the summer, and I think Dean Henderson will play in goal in the Premier League for the rest of the season. Yeah, I mean, it was a weird one with David De Gea, because he made some great saves, didn't he, against Roma, but I still see some people criticising him, saying the defence looks ropey with him behind it, and he doesn't, like you saying about command his area, and one of the goals went through his legs, and I think he can't say it wasn't a good game against Roma, because for me it just was, and he made some outstanding saves and kept us in it, but overall, I think Dean Henderson, for me, is number 1. Me and you had this debate, didn't we, in the summer? Do you remember? Yeah.
When it was full-time Devils, I think we had a debate, or I can't remember, it might have been Prestige Channel, but we had a debate about whether it's Henderson or De Gea. And I think, since then, more questions have come up about De Gea than him answering them. I expect Dean Henderson to start. And I think that, he deserves it. I think he's done enough. I don't think he's been consistently outstanding, but we look better as a defensive unit, if you're going to count Dean Henderson as part of that, with Luke Shaw, with Adam Wan-Bissaka, and obviously Lindelof and Maguire, because Bailly's sort of injured quite a lot. I think that back 5 seems to be set now, and it seems to be quite consistent, really, and quite reliable. I know it's at its moments, but I think we're getting there. With all that in mind, we'll go on to predicted 11s. I'll start with you, Baggers. Yeah. Right, I have to ask you this, because you and Joe Smith burned my head out with your funny ways. Is this preferred or predicted? We're going to just start doing a new game show. Preferred or predicted?
This is my preferred with a little bit of common sense.
Right.
Not common sense, bit of Ollie's going to do that.
You do this all the time, right? So it's my preferred, but
to be fair,
a bit of predicted.
This is my preferred 11.
Right, so
at this
isn't
in time,
what you think.
Because here's the thing, I don't think this is going to be the case.
Right, all right. So this is who you want to see play.
I think we just need to go for it. The last few days,
against Aston Villa.
Let's just go for it, this game. Dean Henderson, the back 5 we mentioned, Dean Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Luke Shaw.
Fantastic.
Midfield, Pogba played in there the other night. I think he did all right. I think he looked good against Roma. See him in there alongside McTominay. And then this is where I'm just going, do you know what, let's just go for it. Let's get Rashford back in.
Sack
Cavani
it.
at top.
Go for it.
Bruno in the 10. Mason on the right. Go for it. But here's my... What I think...
Go on.
I could see potentially Paul Pogba being a bit further forward, Cavani getting a rest, and Fred coming in alongside McTominay. But I wouldn't want to see that.
In that scenario, who would be striking him? If that happened?
Mason striker,
okay.
Pogba left, Rashford right, which I don't like, but I think that could happen this weekend.
So
that's my preferred.
He wants us to go for it at the old. It is at the old Villa Park, isn't it? Yeah, it is. He wants for us to go for it. Very strong team there. Like I said, back five more or less picks itself. Paul Pogba can play in that role. It's not his best position, I think, but I get it, and it sort of works. And the front four, there's goals there, there's assists there, there's pace, there's danger, there's strength, there's everything, mate. Don't you worry about that. We've got a lot. What's the matter with you?
Who have you gone for then, Jay?
Mine's quite similar. I've done my predicted. I always do predicted me. This is who I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will pick. So back five, you've said it. It's the same as that. There's no point in dwelling on that one. Midfield, I've gone with McFred because it's my predicted, and Ole loves that combination. He always does. And I'll explain where I'm thinking it. On the left, I've got Marcus Rashford. On the 10, I've got Bruno Fernandes, and on the right-hand side, I've got Daniel James, and I've got Edinson Cavani up front. Now, you're going to point out there's a big fucking Paul Labille, Pogba shaped hole.
He's not there
in my team, and it's a fair comment. But there's lots of games coming thick and fast. He came off the other night. I think it was tactical rather than resting him. But I just feel that there might be in the back of Ollie's mind, I've got to make a change somewhere with one of my main players that always plays. Because you have, with Ole, you've got like Maguire, Bruno, Rashford, and Paul Pogba, who I think are his go-to guys. Maybe you could throw in Luke Shaw as well as like players he doesn't really like. Mind you, I'm Wan-Bissaka, I'm going for the old team here. But yeah.
In the forward positions, Pogba is one of those
Pogba's one of those. Pogba's always there. Rashford, I know he got rested for the day, so that's why I think he'll come back in. But I think he's going to have to rotate somewhere because we've got this mad spell if the game goes ahead. We've got 4 games in 7 days. So you're going to have to mix it up where one of your key players has to have a breather. It's just not going to work otherwise. Yep. So I think at Villa Park, that would be Paul Pogba's turn. Not because I don't want him to play. If it was my preferred 11, he'd be in. But I just think Ollie might go, it's either going to be Bruno, it's going to be Pogba, or it's going to be Marcus. Marcus just had a rest. Bruno, I'll go with him.
Yeah,
but I could be completely wrong. But it's just that's where I'm getting a feeling from. And also, you think, well, what about Mason Greenwood because he's having a good season? He's been playing very well recently. Again, though, there's a similar shade to that. He played the other night, and I just feel if Dan James is fit, I know there's question marks around him. Then that he'll come in because he's got to mix it up a bit now, Ole. He's got to because you can't expect players to play. I know people say, "Oh, they're on 300k a week or whatever." They should do. Well, that's not how muscles work. Do you know what I mean? It's not like your muscle goes, "Oh, actually."
I get paid loads.
Yeah, I get paid loads, so I'm not knackered after playing like fucking 4 games in 72 hours or whatever it is. So that's why I've mixed it up slightly attack-wise, because I just think he's gonna have to do a little bit of rotation.
Like it's what he goes for. It's probably in his mind what he's going to do for Leicester. Yeah. You know, he rotated for the FA Cup game, rested Bruno for that game, and we all know what went wrong there. It really did.
Yeah, no,
didn't look good at all. So maybe he'll rotate for this game at the weekend and play a full strength team at Leicester. Maybe he goes for these 2 games and then just goes, right, we get 4 points out of these. We're comfortable in first, in second place there. Leicester aren't going to catch us. Then I'll just rest for the rest. Can rest against Liverpool, which seems mad, but I think that game now. He mentioned that it's going to annoy people in the top 4 because he's going to rest people in these kind of games. And I think that was kind of hinting towards they're going to be rotated teams against Leicester and Liverpool, which in my mind, that's what he's kind of said. He also mentioned something about Harry Maguire saying, he's played every minute for us and he might lose that stat. So I'm guessing at some point Harry Maguire's going to get a break. What team you do that up against, who knows? Is that going to be against the Leicester City team that's got... Jamie Vardy's pace, maybe that's a good one to do it. Yeah. Whereas Liverpool do tend to put more crosses in, so you probably want Harry Maguire for that one. Who knows? But he's going to rotate. It's be interesting what he does over those 3 games because, like you said, he went strong the other night. Whether he just keeps going for that a bit. Someone needs to have a break, though. You can't just play everyone for these 4 days. No.
And also, with the games coming up, I mean, Villa, we're going to get to Villa now. We can bring up the sort of form they're in. You can see there with Villa. Because they are a good team, Aston Villa. They're having a good season. But they're not like a Liverpool or a Leicester.
No.
And if you can see there, there's obviously some big results, some good results. The winner against Everton. The draw against West Brom was disappointing. And winning against Fulham is pretty, not expected, but it's not anything to write home about. Losing the games that you'd almost expect them to lose, really, wouldn't you? So they're sort of in mid-table for a reason. They're doing okay, and I think Villa fans will probably be happy because they've not really been involved in the relegation conversation at all, have they? Well, they only just survived last season. I mean, I think a lot of it was down to Hawkeye breaking, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. if that doesn't break, they go down last season.
Which is just crazy. But they've been well out of relegation. Haven't really. I know they've had a little bit of a dalliance. Haven't really troubled the top of the table. But that form sort of indicates that. I mean, the win against Everton's quite good.
Yeah, I think that they're a good team. Villa this season, have been all season. I think the difference is Jack Grealish has been out since I think February.
Yeah, I think he's out for this one as well.
He's out for this one as well, or is at least very doubtful.
A big boost for us.
And I think that's the change in that they could do well. 2-1 against Liverpool and 2-1 against City. They've been in the game in both those games. If you have someone like Jack Grealish,
he's worth a goal in it.
He's worth a goal kind of thing, and I think that's been the thing. They can beat Everton, they can beat Fulham, they can beat anyone else in the league, the bottom teams. But without Grealish, I think they struggle against the top teams. And I think that's where they've kind of got, because they were on the brink of. I think they've also got hurt by the games in hand because they suffered because they had City, I think, twice or something in the cup, or they played City in the league and missed the cup because the cup games they got to postpone and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they had another game, so they were always 2 games behind. So they never got like how West Ham and Everton kind of caught up a little bit and got that top 4 for a bit. Because if they'd have won the games, it was always, if you win your games in hand, you're 4th. And that never really materialised for them. But I said they've had a good season. To be 10th, I think they're 10th or 9th now in the league. If they win the games, they can be above Arsenal and Leeds. It's a good season for Aston Villa.
It's funny that it could be above Arsenal because that is just madness. But that just shows you not only how well Villa are doing, but how poor Arsenal are, to be honest with you, in that mid-table conversation. There was a graphic there I was scrolling, I saw, I think it says they're not beating us in 17 attempts, I think it says, which shows where they're at. In sort of historically against Manchester United. You know Jack Grealish. I've got some other good players though. Like, you look at some Mings, you look at McGinn, he's a good player. Ollie Watkins is the one who's been banging in the goals for him, you can see there 13 goals in the Premier League this season and 4 assists. Does miss a lot of chances, but converts some as well, doesn't he?
Good player, really good. Yeah. I like Ollie Watkins.
He's had a good career trajectory, hasn't he?
Yeah, because was it Brentford last season and was doing well there when they were playing some good football. Villa got their signings bang on in the summer. Martinez was a quality signing, and then Ollie Watkins as well. You get those 2 kind of positions. You get someone that can score a goal. You get a decent goalkeeper. You're pretty much set, and that's one of the big things this season. They've missed Jack Grealish these last few months, which has stopped them kicking on. But they've got a really good team. And Ollie Watkins, like you said, always a threat. He'll probably miss a couple of chances, but
he missed one at Old Trafford, didn't he? Was it the header? Where I think he got played in by Grealish, funnily enough, and probably should have scored, but doesn't. But you can't argue. I mean, 13 goals for a mid-table team.
It's good. It's really good going.
Have any of our strikers got 13 Premier League goals this season?
Don't think so.
No, I don't. I think
Marsh had a lot of cup goals, only just 20.
But it just goes to show that it's not too shabby a record. If you have a look at the head-to-heads between Manchester United and Aston Villa, I said that they've struggled against us historically. I mean, the last 5 games have been pretty dreadful for Aston Villa point of view, haven't they? 1 point or 1 win, 1 draw out of the last 5, which, good for us.
Yeah, the 2-1 was a big win at the start of the season. I think that took us top.
Yeah, at one point.
That took us top,
and that was the Villa and the Wolves game around that time when we all got excited.
They were big wins. The 3-0 was end of last season when they looked down and Mason won the goal in that game. He looked
the interesting one good. There. Do you know is the 2-2 because that was when Jack Grealish scored, didn't he? And he got kicked everywhere. That's what I got convinced about Jack Grealish, by the way, because he got booted all over Old Trafford, got his goal, played really well, but the knives were out for Ollie. The knives were out. Yeah. And I think I might be getting my dates switched, but I'm pretty sure not long after that was the loss to the Scousers and loss to Burnley.
I think it was similar sort of time.
And it was like Ollie outers were coming not just out of the woodwork, they're coming out of everywhere. So yeah, that sort of piled on a little bit of pressure for him, and obviously the sort of earlier results.
But we've always
sort of
liked Villa
solid
Park,
wins.
haven't we? We've always liked Villa Park.
Good ground, Villa Park. You've been to Villa Park?
Not been
It's
there,
all right,
no,
mate.
it's
It's
good.
like, it used to be a good little trip, that. I've not done it in a while, but it was a good one, and obviously we won't be doing it anytime soon either.
No.
With everything in mind, with all that being said, my friend, tell me what the score's going to be, and don't lie.
Gonna go 2-0 United.
Beige.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to say something
6-4.
outrageous. Yes, something like...
8-5.
Imagine if you said like
7-7
9-0 against Southampton, or if you're covering Villa versus Liverpool and you said 7-2. You're fucking mentally ill. I'm gonna you've gone 2-0. I'll go 5-1. There you go, you see. That's it. Why not? It doesn't matter, does it?
5-1.
Do you know what? No one ever bothers you and remembers this. The only time I've ever really been bothered was when I think I said once didn't we draw with Cambridge or something?
Right.
And I called it.
Did you?
Yeah. I got so much stick.
The
2 ones I've called, I said we beat Rochdale on penalties. I said we draw with Rochdale. I got stick for that. And I can't remember if we lost or drew with Cambridge. People can get in the comments and remind me. But other than that, all my predictions have been wrong out of the hundreds of times I've done it. So don't listen to me. Baggers, where can people find you?
Baggers_Alex on Twitter, Instagram. That's about it.
Is it me and thee for the pre-match show?
We'll be here for
the pre-match show.
Kicking things off.
Kicking it off, popping it all off, all that stuff. She'll have myself and Alex Baggers taking you through all the pre-match build-up. Then I think you've got House and McCullough and Joe for the actual game.
Joe Smith, lad, the one from BT.
Yeah, he's big time now. And you have to. That's why he's not here now.
No,
he said I'm not coming in.
No, don't need to.
He said for starters, why are you phoning me? Phone me agent.
Yeah.
And secondly, no, I'm not fucking coming in.
His skull's on.
Yeah, you can have Skulls there agreeing with me. No. Is Rio in the studio? No.
All right, well, it's not no
Fuck
point.
off then. All right, it was a bit rude, but still. But we managed to, scrape enough pennies together to get him in on Sunday.
Yeah.
So he'll be here. If you're not doing, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Obviously, follow Baggers on socials. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow us on TikTok. Have you done any TikToking lately? You what?
No.
I've not.
We need to get some more TikToks going. Any ideas? Send them in.
I'm
Send
a
all sorts
41-year-old man. I don't have any ideas on TikTok,
and
so
also,
help me out.
Underneath that little banner there,
Go on.
it says paddockmatchday@gmail.com. Get your predictions in. Send in what you think is going to happen. Don't listen to me and Jay. Tell us what's going to happen. If you think we're wrong, tell us.
Oh, they will. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. This has been the Stretford Paddock Aston Villa Premier League preview. Thanks for watching.